TradingView alerts. Why do so many people use them? I'm someone who's been profitable for 5 years and I use TradingView alerts every single day. And in this video, I'm going to show you why. Number 1, alerts make things simple. Number 2, alerts prevent you from being an impatient person. Number 3, setting alerts means that you actually have a plan. And number 4, alerts help you optimize the way you spend your time. You can leave the video now if you want. That's literally it. But I'm going to break these down in a little bit more detail. So let's go ahead and get into it here. Now, when it comes to this first thing right here, is that alerts make things simple. If you know what your trading system is, for example, if you have a trend-based trading system where you just look to find a trend, you enter on pullbacks, you can have price making a low, lower high, lower low, lower high, and then it makes a lower low. Well, you already know right here that your trade is going to come into play whenever price makes a pullback. Now, it can pull back to some fib level, it can pull back to the previous low, it can be a break and retest. There's multiple ways to do it. But if you set an alert, say for example, like right here, what happens is that you don't even have to look at the chart unless price comes back into this area. It keeps you from obsessing, it keeps you from making things complicated, it just makes things incredibly simple. If price pulls back to here, the alert goes off. You can then open up your chart and then you look at where price is currently at, then you can make a trading decision whether or not to enter. So let's say, for example, if you take a trade like this, you know where your entry is, you know where your stop is, you know where your target is, and you can make all your trading decisions based off this. So it's really simple. It makes things really simple. So the second thing here is that alerts prevent you from being an impatient person. It prevents you from making decisions that are really, really weird. So for example, if you have a system where it's a break and retest system, or it's a balance of support or resistance, you're trading trend continuations, whatever it is, alerts prevent you from being an impatient person. For example, on GBP/JPY right now, I'm short and I'm looking to add to my position if price pushes down here, and then if it has a pullback back up here to this little resistance zone and then starts to reject. Now, it could be wrong. It could be bouncing here as support, and if it bounces here as support, it'll come up to this next zone where I have an alert sitting right here. And then if it hits the alert, then I'll look to sell right there at the next resistance zone. It'll be an invalidation of the current area. But let's just say it breaks back below here. If you set an alert right here, for example, we'll set an alert here on GJ. If it breaks this zone, you start looking for a short, okay? Because it'll hit the alert there, the price will be right there. Then all you'll do is you'll set an alert back up at this zone to see if it'll come back up to retest. And then if it comes back up to retest this zone, then sweet, you can look for your short opportunity. That's the simplicity of alerts, and it prevents you from being impatient. Because now instead of entering a trade and trying to FOMO in and trying to trade like a buy, but then you get confused and think it's going to break, you take sells, you just wait for the simple thing to happen, which is that you know that on obvious support resistance zones, price hits them, price bounces around at them, it breaks past them, it comes back and tests them and sometimes bounces, breaks below them, comes back and tests them and sometimes bounces. This is just how trading works. And so if you just use alerts to do this, it prevents you from being impatient and it prevents you from entering trades that you probably shouldn't enter. Number 3, setting alerts means that you actually have a plan. It takes a lot to actually plan a trade. And what I mean by that is it just takes some little basic thought. It takes you saying, I would like to participate in the market environment if price makes a higher high and then comes back to makes a higher low and then starts to bounce. So having this plan, it prevents you from being the type of person where if the market is just going sideways and it's ranging and you just open up your chart and you find like 3 reasons to buy right now that you've just made up, and it may not even be in combination with your system, it may be completely arbitrary and random. Setting an alert means that you've actually planned things out and you've actually thought it out, and you've probably looked at the chart a couple times before you made that plan. You've probably looked at it and been like, well, this could happen, and if it pushes up and makes a higher high, then this could happen, it could pull back. And if that happens, this is like a 50% retracement, and then it's a support resistance level as well. Maybe it's also a trend line. You can have multiple reasons. It means that you've actually planned things out. So for example, here on GBP USD, I have a plan for right here, is if it comes to this resistance zone and starts to reject, take a short position. Now this already happened this morning and I'm already in short right here. That's why the alert's not there anymore. And then I'm going to be taking profit here at this next support resistance zone and then maybe potentially looking for buys. When I'm in a buy, I'll just set an alert below this zone. Then if it breaks, I know I need to be looking to exit my position in small pieces as it continues down. And so setting alerts means is you actually plan things out and you've thought it through. You'll notice that whenever you do use alerts, you're going to be a little bit more selective in the trades that you're taking. And that's really good because it probably means you're going to have higher quality trades, and it probably means you're going to be a little bit better of a trader. The fourth thing right here is alerts help you optimize the way you spend your time. There's no reason for you to be looking at the chart unless you have a potential trading opportunity, right? Let's say that your trading system is a break and retest, like pullback system, trend continuation system. Price is making higher highs and higher lows, comes to a really clear resistance area, has a bounce, breaks above the resistance area, and then after it breaks above, it comes back to start retesting here. There's no reason for you to even be looking at the chart at all, anywhere in this area, unless price comes back to the area that you want it to come back to. So say, for example, we use this little dotted line. Let's say you set the alert right there, right? Let's say price comes back here. Is there any trades for you to take? Not if this is your system. Not if your system is like a break or retest system or balance of support resistance or trend continuation. You just wait for pullbacks. There's no reason for you to even be looking at the chart. And so you don't have to even open up the chart ever again unless the alert gets hit. And then of course you could set, let's say there's a resistance zone like up here. You can set an alert, somewhere at the next resistance zone. So that way you've got one alert below price and one alert above price. That means you're waiting for price to get to areas of significance before you're even looking to participate. So what happens if price continues down a little bit more, but then starts to push up right there? Are there any trades? Well, for your system, no. If this is your system, it's breaks and retests, and trend pullbacks, continuations, things like that. You have no participation at all unless price gets into the zone. So you don't even have to look at the chart again. So while everyone else is like getting all worried and looking at the chart, this and that, you're just waiting on the price that you want. You're waiting on price to come to the location on the chart that you want, and then you'll participate. So if price gets down to here, then you'll have your alert. Now, all this time that you could have spent obsessing over what might happen and getting into stupid trades maybe, and everybody else is placing orders and closing them and blah, blah, blah. You just sat there, you did nothing. You saw it made a higher high and you're like, cool, I might participate if it comes back to the zone and retest and starts to bounce. So then during all this time, instead of wasting it, you just used an alert, and then you spent maybe 60 seconds analyzing the chart, and then maybe another 30 seconds after the alert hit to be able to analyze whether or not to enter. Maybe you enter and then it takes another 30 seconds to put the trade in on your trading terminal. You spend a net total of 2 minutes. Some people will spend hours obsessing over a chart and looking at something. Alerts prevent that from happening. They help you optimize the way that you spend your time. Those are the 4 reasons why Tradingview alerts are awesome. That's why I use them. I've been trading profitably for 5 years. I teach other people how to trade profitably as well, and I have a full coaching program for people who'd like to learn. I'll leave the links in the description for that. If you enjoyed this video, then have a great rest of the day. Cheers.